Thank you very much, Super Bad Mike. Oh my goodness. I was just saying, I'm gonna have to redo that whole intro and everything. You know what? Let's take this from the top. Everybody that's live, watch this. Watch this. Where the Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to December 17th episode of Travis Told You. I'm your host, Travis Snail. A big shout out. If you want something, I'll probably cut it on the video. If you want to see it, it'll be up there quickly. I did about 2 minutes of no audio all over as far as I'm getting message from the boys. Got work stuff going on. I couldn't find my power plug-in. You can see that. Just a mess of an opening here on Travis Told You. So a big shout out to Super Bad Mike, Patreon producer, fellow Canadian, for saving me. I'm hoping I would eventually notice that I was muted. That's what happened, but you never know. I've been there before. So yes, ladies and gentlemen, is Travis Told You. I am back here. What I was saying is, what threw me off is I got a message from the boys. We were talking about planning, scheduling, everything like that. If you are planning on watching live or you see the schedule, Weekly Geek is not happening tonight. Kirkland is barreling down. He's got a test. He's back in school right now, so he's got a test. And there's not too many news for them. They're not watching the leak trailers right now. The Oscar stuff we'll talk about, the Warner Bros. Stuff, a bit more some Travis-centric type of episode thing. So that's why we're not going to be doing that. They might be recording something for the patrons because people don't remember. For our Patreon producers next year, you guys are getting 12 exclusive episodes. 6 of those are 4-man bread and butters, and I think the other 6 are duos. So like me and Kirkland, me and Taylor. So they might be something that you'll hear in the future. But lots of stuff on the feeds. This week, I still got to drop the scary movie commentary track. People have been enjoying the Rise of Skywalker one, so thanks for checking that out. Let's get rid of this starting soon, eh? But yeah, so lots of good stuff. But me and Dylan just reviewed Fallout episode 1 for season 2 last night, so you can go check that out if you're a fan. Highly recommend it. I like doing those reviews. I very much like. People might think I don't, but one of the things I miss, and that's why I like being on side quests. And shout out to Chris Balga. That's why I love going on Vodka Stream. I do like being the host, and I think I somehow kind of like took it over because I remember the first year we were doing a lot of like just people would start, and I just felt like, okay, I got a good cadence. Everyone can host, right? But somehow I just got deemed it by just having certain topics prepped, everything like that, right? But don't get me wrong, I love sitting back and not hosting. I love, like different Travis told you it's fine because I kind of control this chaos energy I got going on here, right? But with Marvel Alliance, I missed that when Chris was just driving the vehicle, and I don't know where I was going with this, but I do like that. What the fuck was I talking about? Jeez Louise. It's a crazy... Oh, with Fallout. In that same vein where I hosted episodes as far as like the intros and the plugs, but I like also in that vein where Dylan knows way more of the Fallout stuff than I do, because I feel, not that all the stuff we talk about it, but I feel like with the gimmick, me and David are pretty equal, but because I host it, I'll button more. Anytime it's like comic book stuff, that's supposed to fall on me and everything. So I also like that perspective of. I feel there's so many times where it's like, oh, just wait and see what happens on a comic thing, or talking about that or something else will fall out. It's like, oh, there's this location, this is that. So it makes me appreciate it, and that's a fun time. So check out that. We got that on the feeds. They also did a side quest episode talking about pitching a fall game. I talked about the Avengers leak later on, and then this week Avatar 3 is here. So yeah, it's interesting. Oh yay, that's what an interesting. Okay, I'm gonna bring this up on this. There's some new casting for the Johnny Depp Scrooge movie. There's one here in particular I'm kind of surprised about. So we'll talk about that in a second. But yeah, today we are doing. I think what I might do, because last time I led with the Avengers trailer, luckily over like 200 people were watching. It was a good day. Not as many people in chat here. So what I might do, because obviously lots of people were there for that, I'll probably leave the Spider-Man stuff last. Unless you send a super chat right now, you want to enforce it. It's only an hour show, but I'll probably do the Spider-Man stuff last, because if you've not watched trailer, because obviously with Avengers, I guess I was gonna say, like, in my mind, it was thinking that Avengers was closer, but it really isn't, I guess, right? Spider-Man's in July, so that is the closer one. But just in case, last time it was a lively chat. People were wanting me to talk about Avengers, so okay. Today, a little less numbers, which makes sense because I feel like this isn't as big. And even then, too, the leak of what's in the Spider-Man stuff is nowhere, one, near the quality, and two, there's not like a big reveal. I'm not gonna say what it is, but obviously in the Avengers trailer, there's multiple big reveals in there, right? Where this is just kind of like, we got Spider-Man stuff going on. We got some stuff maybe about Sadie Sink, which we will talk about. But we got a bunch of random news today, talking Oscars, talking, I guess, this is Ebenezer news. Got some good Patreon questions. And what else was there? A little touching on Warner Brothers and Paramount and Netflix. So a lot of it's all kind of like little hitter stuff. And then the back half I'll leave for Spider-Man because I don't have too much to say, but I have a little bit. And some other rumors and scoops going on. But yeah, so we got Avatar. And then finally, before I get into this Saturday, 11 a.m. PST, our last after 9. If you want to call in, join the Phase 2 tier and up. We call in, just talk movies, games, life. It is the last one, which is usually funny because I feel like people are getting ready for Christmas. And as I've said before, I said this at the end of last episode, but next week, I don't know the full schedule of Travis Told You or if there will be any. I could be traveling. It all depends on Emily's family. If I'm not, and it's just a regular day, then sure, I'll be here. And even then, if it's an evergreen topic, but if I'm traveling, and even then, if I'm at her mom's, which is Wi-Fi is a little iffy. The few times I've done podcasts can be a little iffy there. So as of right now, wait and see, but there's lots of stuff that's going to be dropping for patrons and the public feed. Public feed, you're getting the video game retrospective and the Christmas one. Patrons, you'll be getting a bread and butter. You'll be getting the scary movie commentary track. So there's always stuff going on for Geek First, and we very much appreciate everyone there. Appreciate everyone watching. Yeah, and I have to look. Stats been doing good this month. I think it's our biggest year since our biggest year, which is good. Haven't eclipsed the 2022 yet. That was a big year. We'll see what happens, but a big thank you because it's always nice. I said before we continue, it's like 2022, I always say fucked me up a little bit in a good way, but when we had 13 months in a row of like, oh, biggest month ever, you just kind of think that's going to happen. And then when you kind of get a little lull, and some of that was the content, some of that was the strike, because when the strike happened, a lot of stuff delayed or not as much news, right? But it ebbs and flows. And I think that's nice because it was always, okay, Endgame happened and COVID happened, but I was like, oh, because COVID, that's why we obviously stuff went down, right? There wasn't much to talk about. But then it was like, okay, building, and then kind of like a stop, and you go down a little, and then you come back up. So, and obviously we still haven't reached the heights of 2022. Like I said, we haven't broken the overall year, but there's been weeks or not an episode yet. We haven't had the top 2 episodes are Endgame and the Batman. But that to me is like, well, that makes sense. I don't think even in my opinion we have anything as big as that, but stuff like our last year, we did the stats. We're like, okay, because we always wonder the TV shows, how those do. And we did the stats and we're like, okay, let's like, those are good enough to keep around. Let's see. And then this year, all of them have done pretty well. I have no problem, except it did all right. It did like about an average episode. Like we kind of have a barometer of, okay, this is what we think is good, and then great and average. It's not to the point where we wouldn't do season 2 for sure, but it's definitely, if we're busy, we've already said that, well, we'd have to see. That one would be really dependent on the month. And I don't know why, because honestly, what was it? Sinners and Weapons, I think, are in our top 5, and we were, it was like 20 days later. Let me pull up our top 10 episodes here right now. I know people are like, oh, you're just stroking the ego. No, I'm just trying to make a point here as far as the year. 20 years later, and Sinners and Weapons did really well for us this year. And don't get me wrong, like those are great movies, but usually it's always just IP. So that's where for the TV shows and stuff like that, and Alien this year like did phenomenal for us. Like stuff that I didn't think was going to happen, I was doing well. So a big thank you to everybody that's like made it, I'll take being the second biggest year because, that means we're on a good climb up and there's not a big plateau or anything. Yeah. What are we right now? What is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, Alien killed it. Alien 2 episodes. So for us, it goes Superman, F4, Weapons, 20 years later, and Sinners. And then Alien Earth, Jurassic World, Brave New World, Thunderbolts, and Alien Earth. It was Alien Earth premiere, and then episode 5, which was like that mini short one, right? Then Andor is just snipped at the heels. But yeah, honestly, like lots of times that doesn't happen. Sometimes there's like a sneak. I remember one year like Matrix Resurrections sneaked in the top 10, but usually it's just like all Marvel, DC, Star Wars stuff, right? So I appreciate everybody listening. In case this is the last Travis Told You, I guess it wouldn't be, right? Because I'm still going to review Stranger Things. So I'm going to stop ranting now. I'm going to start with our lovely patrons, and I'm going to throw it to Mike, Superman Mike, because he asked a question and he did save me with the audio. So he said, final box office predictions for Avatar 3, which I will bring up. There was the final tracking, right? Let's see. So final tracking right now. Let me find some water here. I need a drink after that. All the mess that happened there. Oh, 1 second. Let me just answer that work thing. There we go. The box office tracking right now, I was just talking about this with Taylor. Like, again, it's a little lower, but that doesn't really matter because go back a couple weeks. I talked about Avatar 1 came in lower, biggest movie of all time. Avatar 2 came in lower, third biggest movie of all time. The tracking with Avatar should almost be non-existent, right? But right now it's on track to have a 340 to 365 global opening. They have openings that are not like the big traditional blockbuster, Avengers, Star Wars, but they open still relatively well and then continue on. Sorry. I never took the drink of water. So for comparison, again, Avatar 1, 241 million. That became the biggest movie of all time. Avatar 2, 441 million. So it is tracking lower than 2, and 2 had a bigger opening, which makes sense to me. I think I'm still pretty confident let me just confirm what don't bring me the 2015 one. Oh, geez. I did that one episode talking about like the 2000s box office, and I must have been on the 2015 page a lot because anytime I go to Box Office Mojo, it always brings that up. But let's see, Way of Water. I think it's like 2.3, right? Because I think the first one was 2.9, and then 2.3. Billion is locked, and I said like I could see it dropping the another 600 million. So that would put it at. I still think I'm confident in the 2.6 to 2.7. I feel like I'm confident there. Now, granted, much to Taylor's point where he's trying to say that Zootopia is going to be a bigger opening. Zootopia is going to have a bigger opening because that opened at like 500,000 or half a billion, right? Which Avatar is not. That's lagging behind that. But Avatar has that word of mouth. Mike says those Christmas season legs are long though, even though something like Mufasa, or even for something like Mufasa last year. Absolutely, right? And that's where Avatar is like cleaned up before. So the tracking I don't think is much. It's like, okay, that's interesting, but and who knows? It could even hit 2 billion. I'm not going to count that out completely. I'm going to say it's more unlikely because I think that this one's not that it matters, but it matters a little bit, right? Because there's a couple people like myself that are like, well, because I think Cocktail Clay was saying the same thing. I think maybe we might see it eventually, but once I kind of heard, it's the lesser of the three, and I don't really like the first two. It's like, okay, not like, but I don't like love the first two, right? I like things about them, but they're not movies I actively enjoy or seeking out to rewatch. So when I hear it's lesser, I go, okay, I'm not gonna watch that. And definitely the second one had we've waited so long. This is only 2 years. People don't have that we've waited so long type of feeling, right? So I feel good with 1.6 to 1.7. Could it be lower? Sure. The only thing I will not agree to is it's not lower than 1 billion. If it's lower than 1 billion, then yes, Avatar is dead. We're not doing another film, but because the budget was 400 million on this thing, I think that's still probably fine. It has to make 800 to clear it. But I'm confident with the 1.6, 1.7. Again, those international markets too. I don't know how they think. In our way, it might be, it's only been 2 years. Do I need to see another one? They might be jonesing. They might be happy. Like, we only had to wait 2 years. Great. I can get another Avatar. So I said this in the opening. I'm plugging in this right now because I already see the battery life. I don't trust it. The second you go live, I could do the same amount of work on a laptop. Be fine. Second you go live and streaming, just so 1 second. And we're back. So yeah, that's my final one. We'll see, and we'll be tracking that obviously throughout the season here. And then I guess I can lead into this. Cocktail Clay says, do you think there's any chance that the Disclosure Day, right, that's the name of it right now, because right, it was the Dish. First I thought it had like 4 names now. I know it had like Untitled Project, but I thought it was something else, and I thought it was the Dish, and then it was Disclosure, but now it's Disclosure Day, hey? Do you think there's any chance that this Disclosure Day is a self sequel or has anything to do with a crossover with Close Encounters of the Kind? Even if it is slash does, I don't think they would advertise it. But I would love if they just connected in similar ways, or would be completely fine with having no connection. Um, I'm of I'm of too much. I think what you have to do in that situation, because I just feel like if it was connected in a big way, it would be fun for them not to show that. But in this day and age, you should show that, right? Especially with this one probably going to have a bigger budget. I imagine it's not like what was the budget for Split, right? Like Split, because obviously that was I think that's probably the last time. Maybe if anyone in the chat can tell me, fuck, what a profit. Budget $9 million, box office 278. My God, they're just laughing with that one, right? And then what did they with Glass? Even I know that was like did lesser than Split, but what did that do? That did whatever. I remember people like I guess people thought it was gonna be bigger and did do lesser than Split, but still, budget 20 million, box office 247 million. They're laughing with that one, right? And I'm a fan of Glass. I'm a defender. I don't care. So that's the last time I can think of a bigger movie franchise where there was a connection that wasn't advertised, right? And it came in at the end. I think with that, you can take a bigger risk because $9 million, whatever, right? I doubt the Disclosure Day budget is out there, right? Disclosure Day. People don't know it's Spielberg's Alien movie. I'm going to talk about the trailer here in a second. Let's see here. Is there any budget or rumor of a budget even? Let's see. No, I got the budget for the 1994 movie, which was $55 million. Yikes, how was that? Demi Moore and Michael Douglas cost a lot back then. Right now, there's nothing. So it's kind of hard to see what that would be. So that's where, if I'm assuming it is a bigger budget, if that is the case, in this day and age of how things aren't doing that well, like, there's always two minds of me, right, Clay? Film fan, don't say anything, have a fun surprise, absolute, right? Just thinking about like when we look at the box office and everything like that, as far as what it means for the success of a movie and Spielberg, it would kind of be negligent if you were connected to Close Encounter of the Third Kind in a big way and didn't advertise that, because you would at least sell one ticket. I don't know how many, but you would at least sell one ticket if it was the sequel to the Close, right? So as far as what they should do, if it's big connected, then they should do that. If they don't, that's great. If it's like little connections, then they don't need to, right? Like obviously Split was a big setup to what was going to happen. If it's just in that universe, but it's not, there's no returning characters or not even any illusions, just like it could be even, then no, you don't need to advertise that. And I don't have any preference. I've not seen it in a long time. I need to rewatch it because I remember thinking that movie was great. I remember my dad showed me it and I was just like in awe the first time I saw it. It was like when I was young enough too. So, I'm not saying it wouldn't have been on now, but I just meant like you had that childlike wonder, right? So because I just feel like you could even hit those music notes. I don't know. But should it be? I don't think I care really. Obviously, I just want the movie to be great. As I've said this before, I don't think I'd have to look. I don't think last time for me, Spielberg made a great movie. And to me, a great movie is like 8 out of 10 on a enjoyment scale. I think there's stuff that like technically Fablesman is, yes, an 8 out of 10 on a technical level. I'm talking about for the things I enjoy, favorite, enjoyment level of watching. I've not gotten an 8 out of 10 from Spielberg since War of the Worlds, right? But in that same time, I don't think he's made a bad movie. I think all of them are technically great. And again, I would not like, I just think it's a way of, so lots of people still get very excited. I'm excited because I want to get that wonder, but with Ready Player One or BFG, I was hoping that would happen, and it didn't really, right? I think the closest you could say, again, it's more on technical level, like, that's well made, is like Lincoln. I'd say, oh, that was really great, but I guess for me, I just want it to be great. I want it to be 8 and a 10 above for me. And if it's connected, it doesn't really matter for me as long as it's good. If it's bad, then yeah, don't connect it. So I don't have a preference. Do I think? So I did the business side. I did the personal side. Now do I just have like prediction side of what I like? It's tough, right? Because like at first, when this was rumored, myself and I think a lot of other people were worried because there was a description of this movie and it did sound like The Post, but with alien documents, right? And that's a huge thing happening right now in media in the world is alien documents coming out, UFOs, they call them something else, right? Like all the stuff being real, like little proof of, oh, the aliens are real, spacecrafts are real, here it is, and us as society not caring because there's so much going on. But literally, there's proof out there, things are going on, right? Which I always thought, me and Taylor talk about like creatures and Bigfoots and ghosts. I'm always iffy on some of that stuff. The aliens always thought we're too big of a universe, has to be true, right? So for me, when it was, hey, this is a very more political, almost Oscar baity, very serious look at an alien movie of like, this is what happened. This is the aliens we found. Not like almost not an adventure alien movie. Then I'd say no, it wouldn't be. The fact that it's looking more, I'm going to say fantastical, it might not even be, considering what we learn, right? But I'm just saying from a more sci-fi point of view, uh, it's tough to it's tough not to think that, right? Because it just feels like you're in that same wheelhouse. So you know what? At first I was gonna say no, Clay, but I'm gonna say yes, and I'm saying yes to that. I'm saying yes to this trailer. This trailer looked great. As I said before, I think there's other trailers that look great with Spielberg, and I've been very excited. And I've never been like fully let down. It's just a letdown of Spielberg's created many movies that to me are near perfect. Biggest example. Look at Jurassic Park. That as a movie, if someone were to say this is the greatest movie made of all time, I would never debate you. There's some takes you could say I might push back that I couldn't. I'm somebody that I think I'd give it a 10 out of 10 or at least a 9. I fucking love Hook. When I grew up and saw the Rotten Tomatoes score and found that other people did not enjoy Hook, I was crazed. Like me and Emily were both like, what? Like in our generation when we grew up, Hook was just like a great movie. So like I love Spielberg. I just haven't loved this. And even more of the worlds I really enjoy, but I don't think I love it, right? I'd have to go back and watch it. I feel like the last movie of his I like loved was probably Minority Report. But I need to go and do like a big rewatch of a lot of these Spielberg classics and even some of the newer stuff again. And except there's a couple like The Post that I probably won't, and or like West Side Story. I'm not doing that, right? Don't do this. That's what it says. I'm clipping these Hook quotes to use out of context on the gimmick. Oh man, there's a wrestler named Hook, and they used to chant Hook. I used to be, I won't say a big fan, but a big supporter of Hook. Not so much nowadays. Did nothing wrong, just hasn't grown his talent. But this was great. I was excited. I forgot some of the people in this cast, like having Colin Firth in there is fantastic. Colin Firth, somebody that anytime you add to a project, it goes up. I think what you always need in a great trailer is some sort of hook, especially nowadays, right? With so many movies, so many content, shows, movies, streaming, all this stuff, right? That moment when Emily Blunt is doing the Newcaster thing and it's like, and it's like the alien voice coming through, right there. That's the rock chills. Like, and hopefully the movie can have more of that, but that was like, okay, nowadays in a trailer, you need something to stand out, right? That's something where I saw something, some trending tweet a couple days ago where because I watched The Keeper, Osgood Perkins' Keeper. Great visuals, some great visuals, really good, like scary mood setting. Movie itself, was not for me. It was some of like other Osgood Perkins stuff that just wasn't working for me. But people were looking at Long Legs to Monkey to Keeper and the box office talk about, right? And even with Monkey, I didn't love that movie, but I know lots of people that really enjoyed it or loved it, right? So you should think that the guy who did Long Legs, that was a big hit that people really enjoyed, and that did Monkey should do a little bit better. But it was like, I think Long Legs was like, what? I'll just round up. I think it was like 150 to 180. The Monkey was like 140 to 160, and then the Keeper was like 5 million. And people like, what happened? What's this fall off? It needs to be studied. Da, 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 da. The thing is, Longlegs had a great trailer, had a great hook. Like it had multiple hooks, but that's the thing. You either have to cut a really good trailer that just sticks with you, or you need that great hook. Weapons had that great hook of all these kids go, and that's just the plot overall, right? But you have to still portray that in the trailer, because some movies do that where they even have a great hook, but they hold it back too much, and you go, oh, that's what this movie was about. You probably should have advertised a bit more, but it's tough because you want to protect the secret, right? Weapons, kids go missing at the same time in one class, and they showed that running thing, same thing, that hook, the kids running, you got them. I don't know if it can be like that, but to me, that Emily Blunt, that is a hook moment. So great cast, some, appearing to be good visuals going on. There's an aspect of, animals being connected to this, and I'm not sure if that's how aliens are speaking through them and they can sense them. All this was looking good for me. I am excited for this project. I'm excited, and I hope Spielberg can make something for me that I absolutely love again. So yeah, this is why it just feels a little bit different. I just feel like I've not been this excited for a Spielberg project in quite a while. Even that poster that they did at New York Times of the all will be disclosed, and it's like the zoom ins on a person's face, but it's their eye, but they're very pale or white, so I'm not sure if it's a person or an alien. They're looking like fucking what's his name? Oh god, I butchered the joke. They're looking at Ray Fiennes and 28 years later, and then it's like now the shape of the bird. There's a lot of interesting elements that could come together. Now, in the script or in the trailer, it's like directed by Spielberg, written by David Koepp. I saw Jurassic World. That doesn't mean what it used to, right? It's great to have that pairing back together, but I'm not 100% locked in as far as this is going to be an 8 out of 10 or I'm going to really enjoy it, right? I'm thinking I'm going to. I think this is a good start. I think all the marketing has been very good so far. So I'm very excited. I hope it's something good. I don't know if it's like, because obviously Mike asked me this and people have been sharing them, and I will have to wait to see when we do the episode. I don't know if it's in my top 10 for most anticipated, because next year there's tons of stuff coming up, just tons of stuff. But so far, so good. I think it's looking really, really good so far. So yeah, I'm excited. I can't wait. I'll be there. There'll be a review, so look out for that. Right now as well, this came out this morning. Netflix is supposedly going to be securing at least their bid portion of Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers has, I'll bring up the quote. They are, I guess, not going with the old chaps there at Paramount. There's a lot of stuff there. A lot of reports, not going to get into it, and because the next M2 we're going to talk about this is when it goes through, which could be, I think they said like late Q3 next year, right? But let's see. Warner Bros. Discovery is planning to reject Paramount's Sky bid stance of $108 billion hostile takeover bid. The board views its $83 billion deal with Netflix as superior, offering better overall value, greater certainty, and stronger terms for the shareholders. Now, this is something I don't know, and this is something I'm so completely blank on, and someone could tell me. At times I thought if you were to buy a company, those shares kind of go away and get paid out for them. This kind of still sounds like shareholders will be around and having some stocks in Netflix, and they're just getting money for that. I'm not sure. Either way, I said what I said a couple of weeks ago, right? Where if it's just going to come down to money, then why wouldn't you take this bid? But if there's more on stake for Zaslav and the board people, and they do think Netflix is a better option to go with, and plus there was some rumors that once they found out that the Saudi thing was involved, apparently there was some like, well, I don't know if we want to sell here, right? Which I appreciate. I'm not going to make a blanket statement on everyone in that country. It's just, as I've talked about before, WWE, we've all seen some very shady stuff go down. That's like, I don't love my favorite characters being connected to that brand, and people that have jobs connected to that brand. Who knows what could happen, right? So now I think the way that it's going to happen is they're going to turn this down. I think the only way that could go through now is if they were to buy I think it was 90% of the shares to hold some sort of really hostile bid takeover. I don't know. So it looks like it's not happening from that perspective. Now we have to wait to see if they'll get approved and everything, but I honestly think they will. We've heard this before with Disney and Xbox. We've heard this, or not Disney and Xbox. No, we've heard this before with Disney and Fox, with Xbox and Blizzard, Xbox and Activision. This happens, and everyone cries foul and go, well, it's going to have to get approved, blah, blah, blah. It's not like it used to be. These things just get approved, right? So I really think, as of right now, it looks like it's going to happen. As I've said before, I wish WB stayed by themselves. I was pulling for Netflix a bit more than Paramount because of the base of the past things because I know people have made the argument, and this is a much bigger thing for Americans, right? So a little political, but I don't think it's too political, whether you're right or left. People's big concern were, hey, if they get those broadcast networks and the news networks, they're going to do X, Y, and Z with it and be very political leaning to the right? And I'll say too far to the right? As I said before, I got friends on left, friends on right, but I think we can both agree which other side you are. There are you can go too far on either way, right? And I think people were worried that's what they're going to do with these networks and have a lot of control over them. And then I saw the pushback from some people go, well, it doesn't even matter because if they don't get WB, they can just buy that later on the split up, like the movie side, right? And I'm like, okay, so either you're telling me, and let's say this is true, we don't even know. Paramount could have got this and be like, hey, we're not going to actually go that far, right? That might be what people think, but we're going to keep it this way. For me, if it is, let's say they are, going to go super alt-right on media, all this type of stuff, very rah-rah Republican and certain things, right? So the scenarios you're telling me are Paramount buys the movies and the news and does that, or Paramount can only buy the news and does that. Doesn't affect me as much because I'm in Canada. It's not my news. But if you are on that side where it affects and you're like, well, doesn't even matter. The biggest concern is what they're going to do with the news. Well, it sounds like they could already get the news next year, right? If that's the big thing where it's like they'd be locked on getting CNN and all that stuff, then sure, I'd rather them not have the movie studio. So that argument never made sense to me. Like, well, what they really want is to broadcast things. Well, let them have it. If they're going to get it no matter what, then why are they going to take our movies down with us too, right? Like, so I didn't understand that stuff there. So Espos says, seems like there's more upfront money with Paramount, but possible more money over time with Netflix. I would not disagree with that. As somebody that I said when the podcast started, I thought Netflix was going to go under or take a big hit. And it didn't really. And then also with COVID, strike a little, but with COVID grew. Netflix is here to stay. And Netflix is here to run things. So I would like take everything up politically, theories wise. If you were saying, hey, what do you think is going to be the more successful brand going forward? Netflix is the one. Like, look at what they've done, right? And they continue to do. So, and there's just lots of stuff we've talked about before, like the PGA or the WGA and DGA. Just if they threaten not to make movies, there's always somebody that's going to do that, right? Sure, in my life, would I love to have a GV movie get bought and play theatrically? Sure. But if someone was also write me a big check and say, hey, we could buy this and get you on the map, lots of people are going to do that because there's so many ways to be out there. It makes it a bit tougher now, right? So that's where we feel, I know there's like, oh, like, I think there's some quote going background with Christopher Nolan ever working with them. Don't get me wrong, Nolan's the guy. He's my favorite guy. Might be the greatest of all time. They will find somebody. I'm not saying they'll find someone like Nolan, but they'll find somebody that will still attract people, right? So, yeah, I think that is the better way. Speaking of Nolan, speaking of, man, I said this in the Discord, which go down Discord, should be good. That link should be good. Check, because I know we've had a couple of people join this week after being like, oh, that link wasn't good. It refreshes all the time, kind of a pain. So join. We have tons of fun discussion, talk about the shows, video games, wrestling, and then just overall stuff. Today, it was announced starting 2029, the Oscars are going to stream exclusively on YouTube. I feel like old Hollywood and people that loved old Hollywood growing up getting in the business, this past 2 weeks of Disney, signing this big AI contract and other stuff happening. So you got AI just starting to infiltrate Hollywood. You got Netflix buying Warner Brothers, which I've agreed with, that they say, oh, we're going to keep theatrical. We don't know that. We don't know how long. And there's a good chance that they cut a lot of that. So a lot of these theatrical things are going to die and it's on Netflix, right? And now Oscars on YouTube. Listen, I don't think there's anything wrong with YouTube. It is a whole different medium, right? People have literally become billionaires off that. I'm very happy that I can host our service. Their news algorithms, stuff like that, are a pain in the ass. I had to recreate the Geek for Studios YouTube channel. I was so annoyed when we posted that. It must just got a bug with it and did well, but we posted the first Adrenochrome teaser trailer. It was like 16K. I guarantee there was some sort of, I worded it right, or it's just a great timing and it got in some like loop for horror trailers or something like that, right? But it's like, okay, good, eyes were there, but then it's because of a certain, literally, they said because of this frame in the trailer, you're promoting bullying and anti-hate, or like hate and anti-this. It was a picture of me in front of a fucking tree. And I screenshot it. I went to YouTube Help, but because YouTube Help is just a bunch of bots, they couldn't help and didn't, and we lost the channel. It was so annoying. So it is not a perfect system, but they've created many people. There's ways to do things to be successful, and I'm very happy that we have YouTube because it stores a lot of our content. I'm happy we can go live, right, and have the chat. All that stuff. I'm not trying to speak like they're going to shut us down, but I just mean like it's a great system. I don't necessarily have a problem with this, but I can see a lot of people, like, to me, this to me is a blanket statement for many people. Might not be for you listening, might not be for anybody out there, might not be for people in the industry. There are people, and I think in droves of many of them, that will not like this because I think it does, in a sense, for them, make it less prestigious. Lost that word for a second. For me, the reason I'm for this, and I'm not, it doesn't matter like where it is. I'm not like rah YouTube, rah NBC. I'm watching Oscars no matter what. Sure, their importance have lessened a little bit because of some of the things we've learned over the years, some of the politics of it, but I enjoy the show. I enjoy the speeches. I enjoy people getting rewarded for their work and achieving that, right? And obviously, in that business, it means something. When you win it, you get to get more money, producer credits, you get that Academy Award winner, all that stuff. We've seen why it matters, right? It can kickstart a career. Sometimes it doesn't at all. We've heard multiple Oscar winners these past few years be like, yeah, I won an Oscar and got really no projects, or I just got offered the same thing over and over again, right? As Bubs says, now it's time for the Game Awards and Oscar ratings. And that's to my point, as Bubs, is why I think YouTube or streaming is good is because a lot of people, I've not had cable in at least over 10 years, right? I always got to find some kabuki way or a subscription service like a YouTube TV or something to watch said Oscars, right? And then I'll cancel it right after. And that's because I'm a fan. There's lots of people that might go, oh, the Oscars are on, let's just say ABC Plus. I know it's not a thing, or Disney Plus, right? And if they don't have, it's like, I got to pay that. I don't really want to. I got enough streaming services. Oh, I got to get that cable package. I don't really want to. It's a pro and a con because you might have people that tune out or only watch a little bit of it. But if it is on YouTube, it's easily to click there. If this is on YouTube, which I guess it is, they need to make it like opening window when that thing's on, not just like a tab. They should go all out and like you are not going to miss it. The same way as like when Netflix with Stranger Things was back, you don't miss it. Where there is some things that are exclusive Netflix, it's the launch day and I got to literally search the search bar. So they should do that, but that's where for me it's to survive. This is the way that we'll get more eyes on the academies. Now, chat's going to be restricted. Absolutely, chat's going to be restricted. They should probably just turn it off, to be honest. But that's where I feel like a lot of people that grew up where, for example, right? Jennifer Aniston, I think it was a couple months ago, she made some statement that people got mad about. I don't really care because, like I love Friends. I love Jennifer Aniston in that sense, but I'm like, I don't care about Jennifer Aniston's views on like or views on like social media and whatnot. But her, and then why I know a lot of people probably think like that when, hey, she just feels like being a star is lesser than now because there's just so many ways that anybody could be a star, right? You could open up your phone, run into traffic, and now you're a star now, right? Where she's trying to make the case of you had to work harder. I think there's some of that. There's some of the things she's saying is right, but then there's otherwise where a lot of those people who content creators are grinding even more than people that are acting, right? So there's an argument. There's bad ways, good ways with both of them. But I think there's a lot of people that'll view YouTube as people doing reaction videos. Oh, people doing stupid videos. Oh, people reacting to breakups or dumb news or, very just like memey stuff. They will look at this and go, man, the Oscars are on that platform now. Really, to me, those people just got to look at it as the Oscars are the Oscars, the ceremony. You're in the fucking door with all these celebrities and rich and famous people. You get an award, you get nominated. That's where it is. But there will be people that go, YouTube, it's not what it used to be, right? And I'm not saying there's like, they can't not feel like that. There's an argument there because that's the thing where I feel like now the Oscars go from almost you have to like, they are made less important because it's almost less important in appointment viewing. Like I said, where I gotta have cable, I gotta get YouTube TV, I gotta go actively pay for it. Where unless they're gonna charge you, which I don't think they were, this can just pop up while you're watching funny cat videos, right? It just becomes another thing. But at the same time, I think that still can get more eyes on it, right? I think more people will watch it. So it's a catch-22. Will the people that watch that you care? I don't know, but at the same point, what's better? People watching it on YouTube or the ratings continuing to decline and then the Oscars just don't exist in that way, right? So we'll see how it goes, see how people feel about that, but I think it makes sense. So Streamer says it will help them in terms of content creators being able to simulcast and react to them without networks copyright strike. Absolutely. Even though I'm sure lots of people will hate that type of content, right? Sorry, I'm really like dry mouth to end now. Please don't be getting sick, Travis. And that's the other thing too. I was saying, right, with the Game Awards versus the Oscars. I do wonder if we could get ever in a state where, and I do think this would make them big, as much as there's an argument against the Game Awards and how they kind of stifle and sometimes the awards aren't the most important. If you were to start doing that stuff at the Oscars, start showing trailers on commercial breaks for big stuff, like for big things, like imagine they're saying, hey, even though it's the Oscars, like first Avengers Doomsday is going to be played during the Oscars. You get those ratings, right? So to me, there is a good method to what Jeff does. I think sometimes the balance is off, but you could see something like that. So we'll see. And then, so finally, before we get to the Spider-Man stuff, so everyone's watching Spider-Man stuff. We're doing this last story and then we're moving on. So let me just take a look here. Just make sure I didn't miss anything. Let's see. So there's two Scrooge Christmas Carol. I said before, I watched Christmas Carol. I'm in the middle of watching the 51 version. My favorite Christmas Carol to me is one of the greatest stories of all time, if not the greatest. I love that tale. I could watch all versions. So we got Robert Eggers eventually making his. Can't wait for that. And then we got Ty West, who did the Pearl X trilogy, right? Now, he's doing it with, I didn't even know this, but he's doing it with Johnny Depp. That's obviously controversial, especially that story kind of fits it, but he's doing it with Johnny Depp. And I didn't know that Tramiel Tillman was in it, and Ian McKellen, I remember, was in it, but they've added a few people. They've added Sam Claflin, Rupert Grint, and Daisy Ridley. So obviously Daisy Ridley's worked with Johnny Depp before in the Murder or Express thing, right? And I was, and not that Daisy Ridley is like a massive star, but she still has like Star Wars on the come up here, right? She's supposed, well, maybe, but she's supposed to be doing the Rey film. Ty West doing a Scrooge movie, a Christmas Carol movie. It's apparently called Ebenezer. That really entices me. The Johnny Depp thing, not sure how I feel about that because I've not had to consume any of his content, right? I will watch this because I think there's enough stuff that, for me, it seems like it was a bad situation all around. I want to see Ty West's work, but I completely understand someone doesn't. And people like Daisy Ridley working with Ty West, that excites me. That's an exciting choice. I'm interested for her making that choice, and this definitely feels like if Johnny Depp's going to make a comeback, this is how you do it, right? You're kind of doing a story that art imitates life, and you have people like Rupert Grint, Daisy Ridley, Ian McKellen, Tramiel Tillman that are a bit more in the mainstream, and it's not like Kevin Spacey when he's making films in France or something, and it's a bunch of people you never heard of, right? You kind of go, well, I could understand that actor of trying to get some publicity, being a big project because it'll be watched by people that are interested in Kevin Spacey. Sure, I'll do this. With this, though, it's going to be a North American film, and it's going to be interesting to see, people, their reaction to this, right? And obviously, it's going to help to see what happens with Pirates and everything. It's kind of like what I talk about Brendan Fraser or like with Macaulay Culkin. With our Fallout review, it's like, it seems like a lot of times they do one big thing and then go to the old IP. I could see this working out and then Pirates 5 happening, right? So on just the call sheet, I like the idea. I like the cast. Gonna be a really interesting thing. I'm definitely interested in the Eggers version because I love what he does, and I think after Nosferatu, that's kind of like a perfect fit. And Defoe, like, don't get me wrong, Johnny Depp can be a great actor, but Defoe is Scrooge. Come on now, that's a generational performance there right now. So, or it could be at least. I think it will be. But all right. So, just like last time, we what was I gonna say? We are going to talk about the leaks here, and then I'll give you a warning when I'm going into full spoilers. I don't think there's too much to spoil, but I will give you for if you've not seen the leak. So, gonna take a water break, ad break. Be right back. So, kind of crazy the week that Marvel's having here. So obviously we talked about on Monday, the Captain America, I will edit some stuff out live, people. I'm sorry if you heard anything. The teaser trailer for Avengers dropped. I'm sure people know stuff, but still, the teaser trailer dropped for Avengers 1. And then in a couple weeks from now, the second one's going to come out. The audio of that leaked, not the video, but the audio. I was surprised the video is not leaked yet, but it is there. And people have said that, with the first one, I don't even think they were intentional. I could just believe that, okay, first teaser's out there, people are going to record it, let's get this happening. I could see why with teaser 2, that might be a bit more of an annoyance, right? So that happened after the fact. Apparently there was like a minor leak of Mandalore and Grogu, but I don't think many people cared because I don't think the hype's there for that movie. But then the bigger one that happened yesterday was the Brand New Day trailer. So, and I won't talk about specifics, but we've been here before multiple times, obviously specifically with No Way Home. I guess Spider-Man 3 and Amazing Spider-Man 2 had also had leaks. I wasn't, in touch at that point, but so this leak happened. And I saw it. It's a classic computer monitor. Someone's filming it, bad quality, and it's like on a diagonal angle, right? So obviously nowadays with fake trailers and AI, all that happens. Or like all that is possibility. But when I saw it, I was like, this is a real, I still feel like I got enough. I feel like with certain photos or quick images, you're like, oh, is this AI? Is this not? But with this, I went, I think this one. So, as people talk about, so I saw the trailer, but I still don't know who Sadie Sink is supposed to be, since it's blurry. It's interesting because at first it was, hey, it's definitely this character, but then a bunch of scoopers said that actually we think Marvel's putting out fake info and it's this trailer and it's a misdirect. So now, like, that's why I put a question mark. At first, yesterday it was like, oh, it's definitely this character, and now it looks like actually it might not be. And then when people kind of made their points, and then what happens? The full trailer came out. It's like, oh, actually, maybe she might not be that character. So we still don't know, but we'll talk about the possibilities, right? Let's see. A lot of people still think it's fake because how bad the dialogue was. Well, one, it's like MCU can have some bad dialogue, so it doesn't surprise me. And two, I didn't think like I'll just say there is a narration from Peter Parker in the trailer. I liked all that. Some of the villain stuff and everything I need to hear clearer, but like I feel a lot of dialogue trailer, like to me, it felt like trailer dialogue where we take snippets from the movies or little, or just have someone do an ADR to try to get a point, get a cross point in the trailer. There is times where there might be some sort of line in a scene and go, oh, that was really bad. But I feel like when it's kind of more narration, you're not seeing the trailer or the person speak. I kind of give that a pass, right? So as Bob says, I saw people point out how there was a leaked Minecraft trailer this year where the footage was all the exact same as the official release, but all the dialogue was a placeholder. Absolutely, right? And that could be it as well. Like the dialogue, I don't think it raised many red flags to me, but what happened was, so I see this, because I follow a couple accounts, I see this go out there. I was watching the first 43 seconds. First, it was 43 seconds, and then the full trailer came out with the audio, and then the full trailer came out a little bit later. But when I saw it, I was like, it was blurry, but with the dialogue, with the talking, with what they're showing, is like, this doesn't look like AI. And I think that's the one thing now that AI people they're going to have to screw up on now, right? Because before it was, oh, the AI looks bad. We can tell it's AI. But now it's almost getting to that point where it looks too good. And if it looks too good, people suss out, go, oh yeah, that is AI. They now got to find the right balance of making AI that looks good and real, but then also shitty, like a leak cam quality thing. And even then I saw one yesterday of like two people talking in the Doomsday trailer and their faces are going crazy. So there was enough where I'm like, I think it's real. I go on my timeline. A lot of people saying, oh, AI slop, it's fake. So it's like, okay. And I didn't share anything yet to GA or the Discord because I'm like, okay, I'm going to wait because if it's not that, then okay, we'll see. But then there was the same people that said, oh, it's that. Obviously, they went to go talk to somebody and they're, I think I was wrong. This looks real. And that's what happened. The full trailer leaked. Now, we don't know. There was somebody that put out that a lot of times when trailers are ready at this point around like that, where it's not going to release, it means they are working on it for a soon release, meaning they meant like that doesn't mean it's coming with Avatar, but that means soon, whether it's in December or even Super Bowl time, which Super Bowl could be. I can't remember what Sony's done recently at the Super Bowl for their ads. But then what came out well was there's rumors that Spider-Man might be attached to Anaconda. So I guess that is a situation, right? Where it doesn't matter now, but that is a situation where I made the argument that, hey, attaching the Avengers trailers to Avatar is not to boost up Avatar. It's to boost up Avengers. So people can see Avatar, which could be one of the most watched movies of all time again for a third time. And they go, oh, there's an Avengers trailer coming up. Oh, this character's in it. That makes sense. That still makes sense to Spider-Man. But it does make sense for, I don't know if people are going to see Anaconda. Well, let's do this exclusive trailer and get people to go see Anaconda. That makes sense, even though we still get the same leaks. But at the same point, I still would go, hey, get that trailer on Avatar. Like, get it in front of all the people. I understand what they're doing, but if this trailer is real, and this is where we will, I'll just say before we close out, crazy this is going on. People, I'm sure at Marvel aren't happy, and Marvel Sony, to have Avengers trailer 1, 2, and then Spider-Man. And then there was rumors of the third one maybe leaking. We don't know. There is kind of stuff out there about what it is about, and it doesn't seem like it was accurate last week. We'll see. There's somebody hinting around Christmas week they're going to release some stuff, and they're the people that release the other stuff. So be careful out there, you Twitter people. Godspeed for what you're doing. I understand if people aren't watching the leaks. I understand that. For me, I not like doesn't really bug me per se. It's just a trailer. We're going to see it. But yeah, I don't know. It's interesting what's happening over there and a lot of stuff's going, but I don't I don't think it's hurting them. I've seen people make that case. I'll say the same thing on the Monday episode. I don't think it's going to hurt these movies. So I'm going to talk about the trailer now. So if you have no interest in hearing anything about it, any leaks, anything like that, now's your time to tune out. Very much. Thank you for tuning in for Trash Told You. I'm going to take another water break. And then when the tongue is wet, I'll be back talking about trailers. I was going to say the tongue's always wet, but sometimes it's not, right? It can dry up. So you ever do this, kid? So your tongue in front of a fan, just feel it. Fucking feels weird, man. Feels weird. Try that if you've never done it. It's never too late. So the trailer. If this trailer is real, I've never heard the song before. This like New York, I Love You. It's by like LCD Sound System or something. Fuck. Great. I love the song I listened to after. Great use. And that's where, to me, there was just little things of the title card at the end looking good. That song where just, I could be wrong, but I feel like most time when we get fake trailers, it's like generic, go on Pond 5, download some rock music or action music or trailer music. This song choice, now I know it's different director and probably different writers and team, but that song choice felt very much in touch with the first two trailers for Far From Home, but especially No Way Home when they used that. Oh God, what is that? Oh, I'm forgetting the band's name, but you guys know what it was like that. I'm forgetting it, right? But it just felt very much in tune with that. I remember when I heard that song choice, someone in the chat, please tell me the song in the first Spider-Man Homecoming trailer. It's going to bug me. Great song. They used it for Pineapple Express as well. Like, great song. And it's like right away set the tone. That set the tone. Especially, it's called New York, I Love You, and it's like, but you're dragging me down, or you're holding, like you're making, pretty much you're just making me sad. That's Peter Parker's life. Loves New York, but a lot of shit's going on. So it just felt like, and maybe it comes out it's fake, but this, okay, same writers, which there's like what 20 of them, but like, it just felt right with where we're going. Someone could suss out, but it just felt like this is a movie trailer song selection by the team. I don't know why. I can't explain it. Just felt like it fit, right? And I loved the narration. Again, I'm just going to say this is all real because that's the other thing I forgot to mention. They struck all these trailers down. So this shit, at least a version of it's real, right? Great idea as far as, hey, I'm Spider-Man. I'm not sure if you remember me, but I did this. And I'm saying it in a very like, should be like, oh, I'm Peter Parker. No, it's his narration is not solemn, but has moments of that and just very just kind of, I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm Spider-Man. I'm just trying my best to protect the city. It sounds like fucking Spider-Man. And man, I don't know if they'll do it. Only too surprising. Well, is there though, Mike? Because like I feel like maybe it's the script or it's the story by. Because I remember with No Way Home, and I feel like this happened each time where it's like when they're like written, or maybe I'm just saying Homecoming. Maybe that's it. Because Homecoming had like 6 writers, but I thought this was one of those where there's a lot of people they're feeding the fire there. But maybe you're right. Maybe I'm just thinking of Homecoming because that probably did change a lot of hands. But it just sounded like what Spider-Man should, and I don't know if they would. I would fucking love it. That's one of my only negatives about the Batman is the narration's so good. Do more of it in the Batman 2. If we got moments of him narrating the movie, hell yeah. Like that's obviously a comic book trope that characters do all the time, right? Because from their perspective. But if you were to talk about that, yes, more of that. Yes. The biggest thing is there's a lot of things in here that aren't completely done with Chris McKenna and Wick Summers. Okay. There you go. Thank you, Mike. There's a lot of stuff that they still got to spruce up probably, but there's some unfinished FX shots. There's even one where people saw where there's webs shooting and he doesn't have their organic web shooters. There's 2 things with that. Either that's a situation where, okay, we got to add that in post, that's coming. Or some people theorized, what if that's why they gave him massive web shooters in this one? So when he somehow gets organic web, it feels like a bigger deal. I'm fine with either way. I like the organic web shooters. I don't have a problem. I get it from a scientific point of view. It makes Peter smarter. Like, oh, I created this, but I also like it because we get to lose the trope of, oh my God, I'm in peril. My web shooters are broken. When that happens, man, that happens so much, especially the animated show. Anytime there's peril, someone's getting, Eric Summers. There we go. I was like, Rick Summers, what a name with a W. But I'm happy with that trope to go away, but it's fine if it's there because I like the web shooters. But with this, there was multiple shots. There was the classic very first image of Spider-Man cover of him doing the web and holding the bad guy. There was one of my favorite, probably my favorite cover is the first cover for the Ultimate Spider-Man #1. I love Ultimate Spider-Man, and that was on there. And then there was another one. We had already seen this before with the DOP and with him, and there had been rumors about that too. It's like they're trying to make, I can't say comic accurate, but very comic book lore loved. And I think that's a big thing because I really enjoyed that trilogy, No Way Home being my favorite. But I do get the point. I'm not saying they got a bag on the guy, right? But it was a couple months ago when the web sling came out. I remember all my timeline was quotes from John Watts being like, well, I'm not going to do the practical web shooting or web swing because it looks bad. It just can't look good, right? Which I push back on. But I'm also not going to sit here and just dunk on the guy all the time because we talked about this on Monday. Check what you're doing in life. If it's for fun, that's fine. But there's some people that make their whole personality to hate, a certain thing. Or John Watts are like, oh, thank God. Like, hey, if Dustin Daniel Cretton does the most comic book accurate live action Spider-Man, that's great. I'm very happy as a fan. That also doesn't make me like get out of bed as far as like this made my day completely better. It's fun, of course, and always enjoy little things. I'm not saying that. I'm saying the people that like their enjoyment livelihood depends on who's directing this movie and the style they give to it. I'm past that. I think a lot of us are too, right? So that's where people dunk on them, sure, do whatever. But if they can do that, bravo. And they can do something very special. If they could do stuff like even recreating the covers, sure, it's easy, but like it's easy. Why don't more people do it? Like, and that's one thing, credit to Zack Snyder. That's one of the things where don't love a lot of the stories of those movies, but visually and some of those Easter eggs and allusions he would make are great. Like he does the fucking Dark Knight Returns jump with the lightning bolt in BVS. Like that's what makes it go down easier. Like, hey, I'm not loving this choice, but damn, it looks good. And don't get me wrong, BVS for me, I pass all his stuff, right? But I'm just saying like, it doesn't hurt it, right? So visually, that's great. We did look like we got confirmation of the Hand being in this. We'd heard rumors about this, but we saw a bunch of red ninjas. Again, it feels odd that Matt Murdock's not in this at all. I know we got Punisher, but I wonder if they still work something out or this is to set him up being in something else down the line, which I really hope so. I need more. I need not just the Matt Murdock lore. I need the full-on Daredevil Spider-Man connection. We got to see Banner in this that apparently is a college professor. We've heard lots of rumors of him about him being Grey Hulk or and then the trailer ended. We're going to say sync, don't worry. But the trailer ended with a bunch of shooting. And then Spider-Man be like, what are you doing here, Frank? And Frank be like, I'm here to save your ass, kid. And then he's like, oh, so disrespectful. Already, I'm ready. Punisher and Spider-Man. I'd have to make a list. Because I think it's Spider-Man a lot. Holy shit, look at that alfalfa hair I got going on because of Santa hat. Fuck. Spider-Man just goes good. Because I think if I were to do a top 10 of my favorite characters combined, like dynamics, Spider-Man with Frank, Spider-Man Daredevil, Spider-Man Wolverine, they might all be in there. Spider-Man and Frank is a very different dynamic, and that's going to be tons of fun. I think already they're nailing it. We'll have to see, obviously, how brutal they go with Frank. I think that's the biggest concern people have as Punisher fans, including myself, because I'd be completely fine if they did. I was always this way, right? I disagree with people where you go, well, you can't do a Punisher in PG-13. I think you can. You can't do a Blade in PG-13. I think you can. If you want to do it R, great. But to me, it's like, would I rather John Berthel play the character or it have to be rated R, right? I don't know why I did that scenario, but at one point that came up, right? But I think where the issue is now, I guess to walk it all back, I would have been completely fine if they said, hey, we're bringing John Berthel back. We are doing the J.K. Simmons things where he's playing a different version. Obviously, it's canon now, right? But let's say if they would have said, we're doing a different version, he's going to be more, Disney centric, family friendly. But if you can still bring that performance and hit on the themes that make Punisher the way it is, like you can still do killing and not be rated R. If you can do that, then I still think there's a way you can do it. But now I think the issue they've set up for people themselves, which maybe it's not an issue, but they got Punisher and Daredevil, he was more brutal than he's ever been. And then they're going to do the Punisher special, which they say this is the most brutal he's ever been. So it's like, we keep ramping it up. That's where it could be not a good transition to see Punisher and those two things, and then in Spider-Man. And especially more if I don't think it's the violence, because to me, you can do the same violence, but cut away, not making it as bloody. If he's more quippy or lighthearted, like in Daredevil Born Again, when Matt saw him the first time, he seemed like he was in a pretty fucking bad place. When he was in a little cave there on the beard, like, didn't seem like Frank was doing well. And in here, if he is, it's kind of like, well, doesn't really work, right? So I understand, but I think their chemistry is going to be good. Obviously, they've acted before. I think their chemistry's, or they screen tested or auditioned before. They're friends. They're in the Odyssey together. Like, I think it's that all stuff's going to be good. Chemistry, dynamic. It's just a question what they do with Frank. We'll have to see. So now with Sadie Sink, I'll pull up this character's name. So that's been the big thing of who is she playing, right? Is it MJ? Is it Gwen? Is it this? Is it that? So two things have come up the past couple hours here, right? Or I guess a few things more than two. God damn, I forgot X uses their terrible, their terrible fucking new chat message. Thank God I got my mouse plugged in. Hang on. So, so this had come out a little while back ago, right? And we had talked about this and not being a fan of this, where she was rumored to be, there's a bunch of rumors, but the most recent rumor was she was rumored to be this character called Shanthra. I don't know how it's spelt or said. I meant to, let's see, where is it here? Shathra. Who knows? Anyway, so that it sounded like it was going to be a hybrid of this character has a lot to do with spider totems and spider multiverse stuff. Like, I will read this. Thank you to Mr. Chris Balgo, host of Marvel Lines. Check out him and David every week. Not the next little bit because holidays, so they're going to take some breaks, but good guys over there despite, a trivia battle earlier. But I asked him just to give me a quick little rundown. He says the term spider totems, and this is about this character Shotha, right? She's would be connected with that. The term spider totems refers to a class of multiversal supernatural entities created by the elder goddess linked to a mystical force called the Web of Life and Destiny. Let's see. I'm not going to read all, Chris. That just gives you a bare minimum of what that character is, right? Because we'd also heard rumors of, this character she's playing is like a human version of the multiverse. So, excuse me. Sounds like it'd be something like that, right? Taking elements from Spider-Man and multiverse stuff, all that stuff. I don't like the sound of that. I will, if that is the character, and that's what a lot of people are thinking after the trailer at first, I will, of course, wait for judgment. I don't mind those characters in like a Watchmen where it is really Dr. Manhattan is this huge, massively, overly god tier character. That's a massive part of the story in the sense of, now I know some people be, well, say this character will be a massive, but I mean in the sense that it's just, it's not in this, we're fighting Thanos, Doctor Doom world stakes. It is, but it's in a different, you can do that when it's on a smaller scale and a bigger thing. Once we start getting into multiple gods fighting all this stuff, it can be tricky, right? And I'm somebody that even said before, here's an example where lots of Galactus, I think it's kind of cheesy. I don't love the idea of this world eater, but I thought the F4 movie did a pretty good job of adapting it this year, right? So I can always be turned around and opposed if it's a good adaptation. Just the idea of someone being, do you, like, the human version of the multiverse just seems like a massive concept that's like, there's a lot of room for error. And I think for me, when it is Watchmen or something else equivalent to that, where it's one story, this is the story, easier to work in that box. When it's you're carrying multiple projects, it's even little stuff like Gaia, right? Gaia in Secret Invasion is supposed to be this hugely powerful character, but now she's in no story. She's not around for Avengers, anything like that. It just doesn't work, right? So that's always the risk with that. So with my thing is, the trailer came out and it said something where it's like, she has this line where it says, hey, if you get out of my way, more people, like something like people are, I'm fucking butchering it. It's like more than just your friends are gonna forget that you're Peter Parker, right? That's the paraphrase. So a lot of people thought, okay, she already knows he's Peter Parker. She's connected to that. Here we go. But a lot of people brought up, because this has been the rumor that's been making a lot of rounds, because there's been a lot of scoopers in this past couple of weeks that are all C tier, but saying, no, like, that report, the first one of her being Jean Grey, that's what I was going to get to. Superman Mike says the rumors of her being Jean Grey are pretty strong. Does that still hold true after the trailer? To me, it does, because like at first I thought, okay, this makes sense. The trailer puts her as a villain. The Shothra person might knew who he is because the Web of Life or Spider-Man totems, all this stuff. And even then in the trailer, it looks like it's like a shapeshifter. Like she's kind of black. Like it's very, obviously the trailer sucks as far as visually, but even within the trailer, you can see they're kind of masking who the character is. You can do that with, that was the line people called that as bad. I didn't mind, I didn't mind for a trailer line. To me, it sells, and I didn't mind that either. Like, That's a threat. Like, it's just gonna either you're gonna send them into oblivion or kill them. So like, I can see why people might think that. It didn't bug me, but that's the thing where at first I thought, oh yeah, all this is in the Shothra stuff. But with this trailer, technically the Jean Grey thing is not gone, because that was the first rumor, right? That came out, and then a lot of people went, no, it's not that. But then lately there's been way more people coming out in the C tier sphere going, hey, it sounds like, no, like I was told she's Jean Grey and she's still Jean Grey. And I don't know a lot of these people's records, because there are a lot of people that, especially with these leaks, are newer to me. So I can't speak to them, right? I've just seen them before. They've gone some stuff, gone something wrongs. I digress. Oh man, this is what I don't usually do this, but you know what? Let's have some fun here. Captain 07, my God, how could you talk so endlessly, Parrot? One, I don't think parrots talk endlessly. I think they have to mimic people, right? Captain, they got to mimic people. I don't know. It's a solo episode. I don't know if, let's see, if I leave there's no one else here. So I guess, I don't know what you would want from a solo podcast. I'm going to say this is probably not the channel for you. And I'm going to say that probably you're a troll and have some fun. But at the same time, there's much better things you could do in life. You could troll someone else that's going to, get really heated about it. This isn't going to bug me that much. Like, what else would you want me to do in a solo episode? This is not wasting my time, because I'm having a lot of fun. I'm getting a gig out of it. You are literally sitting there typing stuff. You're on your phone, I can see. Go do other stuff. Go buy some stocks. Go do something. Go watch a trailer. Go, I don't know, and a dating app. Go have some fun, So, but the Parrot will continue on. If she's Jean Grey, the stuff of her saying, like, threatening him, how many trailers have we seen where there is a hero making some sort of threat to another hero, and it's in a dramatic, villainous type of line, right? So you could easily do that with the dialogue they've used with Jean Grey. And even her being shrouded, I know there was some rumors of there being a shapeshifter villain. That could be the villain in a misdirect, or Jean Grey, her powers are just doing telekinesis and fucking with your mind, could do that same thing of just, I'm going to make Peter see this, right? So my only thing is, and that's where they've also come up where, what is this organization, right? It's the DODC. I can't remember what it is. They're No Way Home. They're Miss Marvel. They're pretty much just acting as like, we're rounding up mutants and bad people, right? So two things that had happened were Daniel RPK, who I put in the B tier currently, he had said that, and he said there's not, like, it's not for sure. I should have got the full on tweet there, but he had said that people, let's see if I have it, if I shared it to G-Way somewhere, but he was saying that he had just heard some scuttlebutt of people of Marvel purposely putting out some fake stuff with this movie, right? And that would make sense as far as with, and it sound like they're especially hitting on the Shothra stuff of, hey, kind of lean into that, right? So that happened. And then this thing came out this morning from Cosmic something, I can't remember what it is. I put them in the C tier, maybe a bit higher C tier. It's Alex from CC. I think it's Cosmic Service, but the rumor is Tramiel Tillman, who we talked about earlier, will be the head of damage control. Punisher will be protecting City Sink. That's the thing that I don't know doesn't make sense to me, right? Because people were saying, okay, they're going after people with just powers. They don't even know the difference between mutants, all that stuff. They're just going after people with powers. Okay, I can see that. That's the mix-up of, they maybe make you think that that's not Jean Grey. It's a villain. It's a multiverse character, but boom, it is Jean Grey, right? That part of Punisher protecting her, one, how does he get linked up with Jean Grey, and why would she need her protection? Other than, I guess, if she's Jean Grey, who I guess doesn't have fully control of her powers, right? Maybe it's something where she does a little bit about it and then it loses it, or she can't control them, so she's afraid to use them to hurt people. Again, I don't know how she gets linked up with Punisher. That's interesting, but I still hope that is true, because one, I don't need like a big multiverse world character or whatever, but two, I think if you look on the basis of just Sadie Sink as Jean Grey, that's fantastic casting. I think that's a coup for them. I think they want to, with X-Men, you got to get a lot of stars that people want to see. I think people, for multiple reasons, want to see Sadie Sink. She's coming off Stranger Things. I think obviously if they're going to go younger, you want to get people that are not super expensive. So like with Sadie Sink, obviously Stranger Things, but she doesn't have like an IP franchise yet. So I think she probably costs a good amount, costs what she deserves, but at the same time, not like someone that's like a Margot Robbie or Emma Stone, right? Like something like that, where it's like they probably have a bigger bill because they have Barbie and Harley Quinn or Emma Stone has multiple Oscars. This is Sadie Sink still in the building phase, right? So for me, it makes a lot of sense and it would be great. So I think that's the thing where I don't think we're going to know really till we get closer to, because eventually, probably within that 6 months, there will be some scooper, a test screening, something will come out there, and it'll come out, right? So do I want to be Jean Grey? Sure. If it's a multiverse character, I'll give it a chance, but that's where I think the 24 hours was like, oh, it's definitely this character. And then someone come out saying, I've heard they're kind of putting out some fake stuff, and multiple supers being, I've heard she's still Jean Grey. And then when I really thought about it, you looked at the trailer, it's like, there is actually nothing in this trailer that would say she's not Jean Grey. It could just be misdirect and other stuff, right? Like when they put a lot of dream sequence stuff into trailers. So we will see if this is trailer. Liked it. There was some Tombstone talk in there. If it is a trailer, I'm liking it so far. Good vibe. I hope it is. I hope we get to see the real thing soon. But yes, ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you have a good day, good week. I guess it's the last time until after 9 you'll hear from me. So, and like I said, Travis told you, look out on the Patreon or the feeds. If I do one, I will announce it, but I'm going to lean to probably, no, like I said, I will be reviewing Stranger Things Volume 2, so you at least will get that. So thank you to everyone that joined in the live chat. Thank you to everyone that was listening after the fact, and a big thank you to Superbad Mike for telling me who my audio was muted for 3 minutes. So thank you very much. I promise when you hear from me next, it'll not be boring.